Hey, good evening everyone. Yes, about a minute to go till we get started. So, tonight's session, we've got some VO2 max, what we call kind of microbursts. So basically short reps with even shorter recovery in between, looking to accumulate some high quality volume at around VO2 max. This is one of those sessions that breaks you down. We'll start with a nice long warm up though, working through zone 2 as we go set off. So starting at around 56% of FTP, nice and easy, nice and relaxed. Got a normal 10-minute build, building up by sort of 6 to 10 watts. Sorry, about 6% each time, each 2-minute step. And then we've got 5 rounds of these 10-second bursts. Those are our fast pedaling epics, those are our activators where we really crack on. Our main set this evening, we've got 2 rounds of 15 times 20 seconds on. Sorry, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds. Let me do it again. Let me just start again. My brain's not engaged. There's too much going on. It's the new year. I've got screens all over the place. Right, let's do this. Okay, so we've got 2 rounds of 15 times 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Okay, so that 40 seconds at around 120% of FTP, and then 20 seconds recovery. All right, we've got 2 blocks of 15. Hopefully that makes sense. A little bit out of practice after a couple of weeks off. Your brain isn't working as it should, so hopefully you'll forgive me. In our chat this evening, we're just going to talk about macronutrients a little bit, and that's what I'm going to kind of get stuck into now. So you may well know what macronutrients are. They're basically fats, proteins and carbohydrates. That's what macronutrients are. Micronutrients, on your hand, are kind of, as the word describes, it's like your smaller molecules. That's your vitamins and minerals. Okay. So we're just dealing with fats, proteins and carbohydrates. This is part of a 2-parter. Next week we'll talk about micronutrients. It's going to be pretty high level stuff, but guys, for those on Discord, if you've got questions, just shout at any point, guys. Okay. There should be a fair bit of time for chat, because in between the VO2 blocks, we've got a nice 10-minute section, and obviously we've got the warm-up as well, where we can chat. So don't be afraid to ask anything. So let's start off with fats. Okay, so fats, let's give you a quick little science lesson. They're made up of triglycerides, so that's 3 individual fatty acids connected by a glycerol molecule. Don't worry, that isn't how the session's going to be. Okay, just wanted to start off by sounding like I know what I'm talking about. Okay, the interesting thing about fat is, as an energy source, it's the most calorie dense. So it's actually the kind of like a treasure trove of energy, with 9 calories per gram, which is much more than carbohydrate. But the downside to fat is that it's much harder to break down, much slower to utilize, which is why, as an energy source, it's predominantly used at low intensity. So as you go through the intensity zones, you switch more and more to carbohydrate. Okay, so that's why fat is so important, and that's why in our zone 2 training, sort of the effort that we're doing now, we want to try and utilize fat as much as possible. That's why it's important to keep the heart rate down, because the more you use fat for energy in your long endurance rides or runs, the more you do that, the more efficient you get at it. So yeah, you kind of, we're talking relatively. It's never going to be more efficient than using carbohydrate, but yeah, you can get more efficient at burning fat, which, let's face it, you can. Particularly if you're doing sort of ultra stuff, Ironman, half Ironman, marathons, etc. Your carbohydrate stores are pretty precious. So being efficient at burning fat is mega important for those types of people. Your fat is mostly stored in your body as adipose tissue, sort of sitting under your skin, basically this stuff, but we're all trying to keep under control. And then your muscles as well. Our goal really when it comes to fats is to limit unsaturated fats. I'll explain a little bit more on unsaturated, and obtain dietary fat from polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats. Don't worry, I will explain. And something you definitely want to avoid is trans fats. I'm not going to go into the trans fats too much. It's basically a man-made form of fat used in margarines, any cakes that aren't refrigerated, basically. So probably old Colin the caterpillar. You don't tend to find him in a fridge, do you? Probably full of trans fats, I'm afraid. So Colin's got to go. Sad for all of us, but there you go. So that's trans fats, basically pure evil trans fats. Really not something you want in your diet to any sort of proportion. Sorry, just put my fan on. I didn't think I'd ever get warm enough. Put my fan on this evening. It's absolutely freezing. There you go. So saturated fat we are looking to avoid as well, but not to the same sort of degree. Saturated fat does have a purpose in our body. So if you go back to sort of GCSE biology, if you remember nerve cells, the myelin sheath, that's made out of saturated fat, but we don't need tons of it in our diet, basically. And we can get it pretty easily. So we don't need to go searching for it. And the reason being is because saturated fat increases inflammation and is associated with heart disease and in some instances diabetes, etc. Basically, the saturated means it's got loads and loads of hydrogen bonds. Now, the ones we want to know about and make sure that we prioritize are polyunsaturated and monounsaturated fats. So these are your omegas, basically. Your omega-3s and 6 from nut and vegetable oils, oily fish. Your monounsaturated fat, your omega-9s from olive oil, avocado. So the good stuff, basically. And they're really good for heart health and things like that. So that's what we want to be focusing on, those good fats. So let's take a little pause before we get into proteins, because it's got one more step of the warm-up. And then we're going into some bursts. Just bear with me 1 second. Just realised I left the heater on. So I've got the heater going at me from one side and then the fan from the other. So we've got a couple of minutes left of the warm-up before we get into the activators. As fast pedaling up, it's those bursts. So they are at 100% of FTP. So they're hard. We've got 5 of them. It's basically 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off. So we've got to be paying attention. So I'm going to draw our minds back to the workout now. Nice and relaxed for now though. So we're up to around 70% of FTP, top end of zone 2. Still nice and relaxed, so just shake out the arms, draw the shoulders away from the ears, keep your chin up. Cadence wise, well above 80 RPM now. Just cruising, getting ready to go. Okay, so let's get concentrating now. 25 seconds, then we hit those bursts. They're short and sharp, you've got to be on it. 10 seconds on, 10 seconds off. Ready, guys? So it's 10 seconds on. So really rev the legs, come on. Over 100 RPM if you can. Try and soften the elbows so you're not bouncing on the saddle. 2, 1. Relax, keep the legs turning over though. So completely relax. Because before you know it, we're back on it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Focus primarily on the leg speed. Round 3. Ready? Here we go. Okay. Ready? Round 4. Here we go. Penultimate one. To really get the leg speed going. That's the focus. Alright, last one then, guys. Here we go. Okay, now relax. Just 60 seconds. Then we're just going to go up to a tempo level. So it's going up to 80% FTP now. So make sure your leg speed's relatively decent. Recommend upwards of 90 RPM if you can. But it should feel like a 6 out of 10. So, sorry, that's something I should have said at the start, guys, is we're in erg mode pretty much for the whole session tonight. But one of the challenges you're going to have is keeping your leg speed up. With the speeding up and slowing down, or increasing and decreasing resistance. Okay? So you find you're really struggling. Not so much with power, but just keep your leg speed up. I do advise turning erg mode off. But see how you go. In theory, this is meant to be an erg on session. Just running the next few minutes at 8% FTP. Then when we get into the 10-minute recovery between sets, I'll talk a bit more about macronutrients. Now let's focus on the session. Make sure everything's sorted. I've been on a turbo for 2 weeks, so I'm feeling a little bit fidgety, not 100% comfortable. So forgive all my little idiosyncrasies this evening. So this session, you might recognise it a little bit. We did something very similar at the beginning of December. That session was 10 times 60 seconds on. 30 seconds off. So we're taking it up a notch, more reps, slightly shorter, but a lot more reps. We're at 45 seconds, that tempo. So this is just a extension of the warm-up. Should be sub-threshold still though, should be relatively relaxed. 20 seconds. There we go. Ready? Okay, 40 seconds. At 120%. Try and keep that leg speed nice and high, well above 90 if you can. Twenty. Okay, last 10. Three, two, and one. Now keep the legs turning over. Don't just stop. If you need to take it too easy, you'll find it hard to go again. So keep leg speed above 80. Round 2. Here we go. Twenty. 10. 3, 2, 1. Okay, ready? Round 3. Here we go. Last 20, guys. Three, two, and one. So that's 3 down, guys. Round 4, here we go. Nice high leg speed, remember. Okay, final 10. Three, 2, and 1. Right, try and break it up into sets of 5. Okay, so one more, and then we're through the first set. Ready? Okay. Twenty. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So that's the first set, 5 down. Let's just focus on the next 5. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Off we go. Plenty. Ten. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 7. It's taking us pretty much up to halfway. Here we go. Here you go, guys. 10. 3, 2, 1. Okay, rep 8 coming up. Now we'll be well over halfway. Ready? Okay. Plenty. Okay, 10. 3, 2, 1. Well done, guys. Stay on it. Keep legs turning over. 2 more. And then we're into the final block of 5. Ready? Number 9. Twenty. 10. 3, 2, and 1. Right, one more. Then we're into the final 5. So stay strong, keep the chin up. Try and relax as best you can. Let's go to 1, number 10. Twenty. 10. 3, 2, 1. Okay, well done, guys. Last 5, and then a lovely big rest. Here we go. That's 20. We're on number 11 now. 10. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, 4 more, guys. You're not far now. It's over 2 minutes of hard work. Okay, 20. Last 10. Stay on it, guys. Just one more. Sorry, 3 more. My bad. It's been a busy day. Brain is not activated. Number 13. There's 2 more after this. Let's go, guys. Stay on it. Twenty. Last 10. 3, 2, 1. Okay, just 2 more sets, and then we've got a really nice long break. So stay focused. Let's push on the tree. Number 14. $20. 10. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, just got 1 more rep, guys. Then a beautiful 10-minute recovery period. Come on, let's finish off. Continue there, guys. Ten. 5, 4, nearly there. 3, 2, 1. Whew. Well done, guys. Give the legs a shake. Well done, guys. Get the fluids back on board. Get your breath back. And then bring your leg speed back up above 80. Don't stress too much about the recovery power. Just take time. Get your breath back. And then once you're there, bring the kicks back up above 80. So you're spinning nice and efficiently. So you might notice that quite early on I was out of erg mode. For whatever reason, my legs are just not at the races this evening. Hopefully you're feeling better. Trained pretty hard over Christmas. Lack of sleep has been my enemy though. Bloody dog having nightmares, can you believe? Right, okay, so let's talk a little bit more about macronutrients. So we talked about fats, what they're made up of, 9 calories per gram, much more than carbs. We want to limit the unsaturated, completely avoid the trans fats. We want to stick to the polyunsaturated and monounsaturated, your omegas, your nut and vegetable oils, your oily fish, your avocado, your olive oil, that sort of goodness. Now, we're going to talk about proteins next. Protein is actually an energy source as well. It can provide about 4 calories per gram, but we don't want very much energy from protein. You know, we are always using each of these 3 energy sources at all times, but to greater or lesser degrees and in different ratios depending on the scenario. So protein you probably won't use in significant quantities unless you are massively underfueled or you're in an ultra event, something like an Ironman. And the reason you want to avoid protein is because it's coming from essential functions or tissue. You know, you're basically breaking down your own body, so you really want to avoid it. As humans, we need so proteins are made up, as all these macronutrients, they're made up of kind of smaller blocks. In protein, you would have heard of amino acids. So the amino acids are what build, like Lego, slot together to create a particular protein. And we need 20 different amino acids. In our bodies, we can make 11. That means there's 9 that we don't make. And the ones that we don't make are called essential amino acids. And they're ones that we have to get from our food, basically. And if you're eating a food, you know, a form of protein that has all 9 of those essential amino acids, that is what we call a complete protein. So you might have heard that phrase before. If the food doesn't contain all 9 of those essential amino acids, it's an incomplete form of protein. Now, types of foods that contain all 9 are complete protein. That's your milk, your meat, your soya. Soya is actually one of the few vegetarian proteins that is a complete protein. And most vegetarian proteins are incomplete. And which means that if you're a vegetarian, you need to eat vegetarian proteins, generally speaking, in combination. And it's all the really obvious stuff, you know, like cereals and nuts, beans and lentils, you know, your traditional pairings. You know, there's a reason that they're traditionally paired, okay? Because together they give you a really good source of protein. The only downside is the protein levels are much lower in vegetarian proteins, generally speaking, and so you need quite a lot of them. But usually vegetarian proteins are very low in fat, usually pretty low calorie otherwise, and so it's not a big deal having a big bowl of beans and lentils, because it compared to meat, for example, which contains a lot of fat, saturated fat. You know, the two kind of balance out each other. So you might have a huge quantity of beans and lentils, but a small quantity of meat is going to contain quite a lot of calories. So in terms of our kind of meeting our energy needs, you know, there's the trade-offs there. I often get asked how much protein. It really depends on your exercise, type of exercise, what your goals are. But generally speaking, a high protein diet is always really good for weight maintenance or weight loss goals. For an endurance athlete, you're looking somewhere in the region of 1.2 to 1.7 grams of protein per kilo of body weight per day. I'll say that again, 1.2 to 1.7 grams of protein per kilo of body weight per day. And in terms of after exercise protein, you want a good big hit of protein straight after training, particularly after a high intensity session like this. So something like 20 grams straight after exercise if possible. And just remember, men, we have sort of up to an hour of like a golden period where we have elevated muscle protein synthesis. Women, it's only half an hour. So female athletes, you have to get that protein on ASAP and be really organized. Okay. Carbohydrates. I've got time for carbs. Yeah, let's try and squeeze it in. Carbs are our most important fuel source. Okay. Much more quickly broken down. Stored in our liver and muscles and as glycogen. It's burned at twice the rate of fat. So you can see why our body switches to carbohydrates as intensity increases. So right now you are going to be shredding your carb stores. Okay. Now the carb family includes sugars, your simple sugars, your starch, and your fiber. Now basically simple sugars are made up of one type of sugar, one sort of sugar molecule. So that's your glucose, fructose, and what's the other one? There's only three. Monosaccharides. I can't remember. Not an important one. And then you've got so that's what we call a simple carbohydrate. It's the bonds are broken really quickly and easy. It introduces a significant insulin spike. Okay, and if you're eating too much, your glucose etc. will get pushed into your adipose tissue, into your fat stores. And so we want to eat it sparingly, basically, and focus more on your starchy, fibrous foods, your complex carbohydrates, which basically it means it's 3+ sugar molecules. Who cares? You don't really need that. But basically, lots more branches to break down. Okay, and it's the last thing I wanted to talk about when it comes to carbs is fiber. It is enormously underestimated how important fiber is. So you've got two types, the soluble and the insoluble. The insoluble is probably the more important of the two. So what that means is it doesn't get absorbed, it doesn't get broken down, and it kind of acts as like a conveyor belt for your digestive system. And if you don't get enough fiber, that conveyor belt is slow, it's poor to absorb, you get constipation, all the horrible stuff basically. So that's why, insoluble fibers from vegetables, fruits, cereals is really important. Anyway, so I'll just leave it like that. We'll have a little bit more chat at the end. But that's your proteins and your carbs. Just like a basic high-level GCSE level overview of macronutrients there. And what we'll try and do at the end is get some questions. So we've just got about a minute to go. So we're just going to go up to tempo for a minute again. Okay, just to kind of get the legs going, lift the heart rate a touch, just so that kick up to VO2 max isn't too aggressive. Okay, so about 40 seconds. I'm going to stay out of erg mode. If you were good last time, stay in erg. Just try and keep your leg speed high, upwards of 90. Even out of erg, my legs aren't working. So basically, just ignore everything I'm doing. You do you, and hopefully do it better than me. I haven't had a day like this in a while, thankfully. It just feels like my legs aren't attached to my body. You can see I'm always fidgeting. It feels like my trainer's slanted. Just a shambles. Okay then, guys. So we're going up to tempo, so 80% of FTP first, build into it. So cadence wise again, ideally above 90 RPM if you can. Now this set is going to be tough. The challenge is going to be to keep the leg speed up. Now so remember, if you start to really kind of go into sort of wow banana time trial mode and your cadence in the 50s and 60s, 70s, get that erg mode off, get it onto fixed mode in Nivello, in Training Peaks Virtual, sorry, whoops, which will simulate a perfectly flat gradient, and then just use your gearing to try and hit the power. Annoyingly, I keep getting stuck between two gears. Let's see how I go this time. Right, 5 seconds, get ready to go, 120% of FTP, here we go, first one. Okay, 20. 10. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, relax. Don't worry if that feels a bit horrible. The legs might have just gone to sleep a little bit. Just be patient. Do your best. Okay, round 2. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Twenty. 10 in there. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done, guys. Just focus on this first set, 5. Don't too far ahead. Ready for number 3, 2, 1. Twenty. 10. 3, 2, 1. Okay, 2 more left of this initial little set. Try and keep the legs turning over. Number 4. Here we go. Okay, last 20, guys. Ten. 5, 3, 2, 1. Okay, one more, and then we're through that initial third of the block. Ready? Here we go. Try relaxing the shoulders. Just see myself on the screen, pinned up like this. Drop the shoulders, lift the chin. 20. 10. 3, 2, 1. Well done, guys. That's the first 5 down. Now, let's just focus on the next 5. Middle set. Ready to go. 5, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Number 1. Relax the shoulders. Twenty. 10. 'And relax. That's round 1 of this in the middle. Set 5. So think about these next 4, and then we'll be within touching distance of the finish. Okay, so think about these 4. Number 2. Here we go. Twenty. 10. 'Well done. So just 3 more, and then we're into the end game. All right, so these next 3, let's smash them, and then just use momentum and the adrenaline of nearly being finished to help you through the final. Let's think about these next 3 and nothing else. Okay, here we go. Twenty. 10. 5, 3, 2, 1. Oh. Okay. 2 more. Then we're into the end game. Okay. Number 9. We're really getting through them now, guys. Well over halfway through this set, through this block. So stay on it, guys. Shoulders down, chin up. Twenty. 10. 'Well done. Whew. Okay, 1 more. And then we're upon the end game. And we're going to pick ourselves back up. So 1 more. Ready? Okay, number 10. Here we go then, guys. Twenty. 10. 3, 2, 1. Right then, we're into the end game. Last 5. Give yourself that proverbial slap across the face. Let's get back into it. I want your leg speed back above 90. Let's smash these last 5, okay? Get yourself going. This is it. Right, number 1. Here we go. And 20. 10. 5. 2. 1. Right, 1 down, 4 to go. Let's do this, guys. Come on. Let's drive it hard. Remember to keep dragging your shoulders down, lifting your chin, all the good things to keep you going. More efficient. Here we go, round 2. We're so close to being done now, guys. Stay strong, keep pushing. $20. 10. 3, 2, 1. Yes, okay, 3 more, and then you're done. You're so close now, guys. Don't give up. Get yourself fired up. Number 3. In 2, 1. Off we go. Come on. 2 more after it, and then you're done. $20. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Oh man. Penultimate rep. Just 1 more after this. Don't think about it. Let's just go for it. 3, 2, 1. Penultimate rep. Come on. $20. Last 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we are then, team. Last rep. We didn't think we'd ever get this far. Well done. 10 seconds. Let's finish off strong. 3, 2, 1. Okay, last rep. Finish strong. Twenty. Last 10 coming up. All the way to the end. 5, 3, 2, and 1. Oh man. Oh. And max. Really well done, guys. Just gonna have a few minutes. Just recovering. But I'm cold, can you believe it? Well done, guys. Well done. So we've had our chat about macronutrients. A very quick recap. Talked about the fats. Talks about how calorific they are, which can be a good thing at low intensity. Use your fat stores rather than your glycogen, your carb stores. We talked about avoiding saturated, but that is often the good stuff. And then definitely avoiding trans fats, avoiding column the caterpillar. The good stuff, the polyunsaturated, the monounsaturated, your omegas, the olive oils, avocado, oily fish. Then we went on to talk about protein. It's an energy source as well, just a crap one that you don't really want to use. About those 9 essential amino acids that generally you get from animal products, but have to search for in vegetarian products. Soya being a good vegetarian complete protein. Wanting 1.2 to 1.7 grams of protein per kilo of body weight per day. At least 20 grams straight after exercise within a half an hour to an hour window. And then lastly, carbs, most important fuel source for endurance athletes. Okay, we burn it at twice the rate of fats, so we need to be careful how we use them. Now, ideally, unless you're in training or racing, staying with your complex carbs, your starches. And then we mentioned quickly the importance of fiber for your digestive system. Yes, I think fiber is just something that people have a very light touch understanding of. Probably could do a session on fiber itself, but it wouldn't be interesting. The last thing I wanted to say is, for anyone that's new, I've obviously not had the best of sessions personally, which you shouldn't really care about. But I always like to use my nightmare sessions as a bit of an opportunity to kind of talk to you how to deal with those sorts of things, those sorts of sessions, because we all have them every now and then. So you'll notice that quite early on I knew my legs weren't at the races, so I turned ergomed off. Just did my best to try and hit the power targets, try and keep my cadence up above 80 at least, even though I was struggling to keep it above 80. But you probably wouldn't have noticed because you were busy doing your own thing. But out of erg mode, yes, I wasn't hitting the power targets perfectly because I just didn't have that in me. But I was still, my target was 395 watts for each of those 40-second efforts, and I was sort of averaging around 350, not far off that. So that's still a very good session. I don't think anyone could really suggest otherwise. So basically, my point is, guys, just because you've got ergometer on and you're not enjoying it, the power targets are probably not. You just can't hit the power target. You've got to remember that the power targets we set are arbitrary. Okay, we're trying to hit a specific energy system, but in reality, where you sit in the sort of spectrum of energy systems, it's individual, and on any day it can be slightly different. Okay, in terms of where your heart rate sits. So just remember, you don't have to suffer. You don't have to be sort of out saddle at sort of 40, 50 RPM chugging away, just to get to the end of the interval. Get erg mode off. I've got articles on the website in the members area about erg mode, when and when not to use it. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of use it as an opportunity to say, take ownership of your session. Just because it's not going as well as you'd like doesn't necessarily mean that you have to kind of chuck it in the bin and walk off on a strop, which I'm always often tempted to do. But yeah, just wanted to hit that last one, guys. Try and get the most out of your session, fall back on rate perceived exertion, etc., and just try and perform the spirit of the session, and not worry too much about it being perfect. So guys, has anyone got any questions on anything that we talked about tonight? I haven't really given you much chance to ask because I've just been waffling away. Are you all good? Okay, guys. Well, thanks very much for your company. I will see you again next week. Take care, guys. Have a nice evening.